Christian Moueix. I was lucky to have a great father, Jean-Pierre Moueix, who began the business as a wine merchant in 1937. Then he acquired a few vineyards in the 50s of top quality. I joined the company in 1970, became president, and I purchased a few more vineyards ourselves, myself, and we, as of today, we have 10 vineyards. You know, it's always difficult to ask what's the wine you prefer among your kids. Petrus, of course, is a star, has a special place. Magdalene is quite charming and underrated. We acquired recently Bel Air, which we renamed Bel Air Monange, which I think should be within 10 years the star of Saint-Emilion, because it has the best potential of Saint-Emilion historically. Then in Pomerol, those wines are very close to each other, even if they are different in style. And of course, between La Fleur Petrus and Trotanois, La Fleur Petrus is on a gravelly soil, is pure elegance, he's so charming, more approachable in his youth. Trotanois, being half gravel and half clay, is closer to Petrus in style, deeper, richer, more spicy probably, but could not be enjoyed at a younger age.
I particularly thought from La Fleur Petrus, the 98 I thought was absolutely delicious, and that wine is showing really well now, isn't
It's such a delicious wine. Well, we were lucky to pick 98 La Fleur Petrus just before the heavy rains were at the end of September, so it was perfectly mature, and on those gravelly soils it has a charm and a warmth which is kind of unusual at La Fleur Petrus, so it's a special success for La Fleur Petrus now.
And I think people should be drinking 98 La Fleur now, shouldn't they?
Definitely,
really? Yeah.
As well as the 01 vintage, which we showed today, which is a very underrated vintage because people prefer the 2000, which is probably a better vintage. But in terms of charm, let's drink the 01. They are not as expensive and they are wines for drinking.
What do you think?
It is not my style to be too enthusiastic at a younger stage, but nevertheless I cannot resist, maybe for the first time in my life, because 2009 is the only time where I was able to drink the young wines, which I do on a daily basis. Even if malolactic fermentation is not finished, I take half a bottle home at night and I drink it with my regular food, you know, which I did only once in 40 vintages. You cannot imagine how good it is. It has, I will not dare to say a sweetness, a sucrosité, I would say in French, which means because it has no more sugar, there is no sugar left. It's so round, so seductive, unbelievable.
Excellent. And lastly, Christian, what was the audience like today? What do you think of the Decanter audience? Are they intelligent?
Well, how would I dare to say the reverse? But people were so, they were enthusiastic, they were so attentive, you know, and it's clear that you feel that up to the last row. I had a great time, you know, and then of course it's a little cool at first, but then you get a little more excited. I have to say some things which are sometimes a little provocative to get people's attention, but I enjoy it so much. It's very lively. It's the right format. I mean, I gave a tasting for the Wine Spectator in New York 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, 800 people. Difficult to capture 800 people. For 100 people, it's fantastic. That's the right format. It should not be.
You said you made some provocative statements. I thought your statement about En Primeur was quite provocative, saying that if you had the choice, you would not show your wines after 6 months.
And I'm honest saying that. We are obliged to be part of the game, so that we know it's a game. How can the best tester, whether it's me, I test 50 wines a day in my life, you know, on a daily basis. Except in summertime as a wine merchant. But how can people who come to test sometimes only for a few weeks in a year, they test 200 wines a day? How can they have the same judgment? They get so saturated, not to say drunk, saturated with tannins. I think we should register in another place, you know, it's really to do that. And
when would you have En Primeur? After how long? Ideally. A year?
Well, ideally, to be 100% objective, the wines should be bottled before they are judged. But that's in another world. But people like Vega Sicilia, they do that, you know, so why not in Bordeaux? Let's say, objectively, we can judge the wines 1 year later. Let's say November, just as we speak, we can judge the 08 without a mistake. I mean, I can... en primeur, in March, I can be 50% wrong. Now I can only be 5% wrong in my appreciation.
Interesting. Christian Moueix, thank you very much indeed.
A real pleasure. Thank you. My pleasure.